like T.O.M. Chilling out the galaxy and we know him. Putting tunes up that'll keep you up. Glued to the screen like you do too much. The galaxy is ours, the sun and the stars. Tsunamis on and chilling hard. Watching closely from a perch among the stars as viewers await the moment when the spirit bomb can charge. Hito Yui self-detonates. Yu Yu Hakusho replicates suspense in the spirit while their chests are pounding hard.
Hey there, my Tsunami Generation, and welcome to a brand new era of the Absolution Network. This is the Absolution Network special, AnimeNEXT 2018 Con special. AnimeNEXT 2018 happened a little over 2 weeks ago, and today, besides the interviews and panels that I've already put up on YouTube, I'm going to sit here and talk about my feelings on the AnimeNEXT 2018. We're going to cover Dealer's Room, Gamer Room, Artist Alley, cosplay, and the events and panels, and all that and much more with special clips and videos to introduce what I'm talking about. And of course, as part of this, as I said, it's a brand new era for the Absolution Network. As part of this, a preview of the new set, which is mostly done since the last time you saw it on the panel announcement for AnimeNEXT. Working very hard, so I'll have to repose some figures so that they won't fall down. But pretty much it's complete. There are some things on here. This Fujiko won't be there, but she's there for a special reason, which you'll understand very shortly. But yeah, pretty much got it. I think it's a great representation of myself, and of course a representation of Toonami, because pretty much everything on here, almost everything on here, has been on Toonami, with the exception of some obvious things. Spider-Man, Power Girl hasn't been on here. Obviously we have Mai here, who's a fighting character, hasn't been on here. Rias hasn't been on there, though. I keep hoping High School DxD will make it onto Toonami, but pretty much everything else has. Power Rangers hasn't been on there, but I think it's a good set overall. I think it's a great, not just, like I said, representation of Toonami fandom, but also my likes and dislikes, or not even dislikes, but my likes and my fandom, I should say. So let me know what you think of my desk, the new set, shall we say. I was saying, this is a long time coming. For those who may not know, I've been podcasting for over 10 years. Started in 2007 with 132 Productions, who I'm still with, who give me the space to be creative, which I'm very thankful to both Gene and Chris, who allowed me to do that. In 2008, altogether, we tried to do video, but video didn't work out for us. We weren't getting the views like other people, like Nostalgia Critic was. And we felt it was just too of a... it's not like now where, even though there's a lot of people, there's a market there for you can just make your own niche. There it was a very tough place to get ahead on Blip and everything, and there was... I don't want to say too much competition, because there's no such thing as too much competition, but there just wasn't the viewership there for everybody, as there is now on YouTube. So we went back to audio podcasting, and I've been doing it ever since. But now I have better equipment than the simple webcam and Windows Media Maker that I was from older videos, which, by the way, are on the YouTube page, which you can find at Mattis Leonhardt. That's at Leonhart. Please like and subscribe. Better camera, better computer, editing, everything. I'm now in the place where I feel like I can go back to video. So, this is a new era. We're going to be relaunching Tom's Friday back at number 1. I'm going to give you a special look at what we'll be doing. First episode drop later this week. And all that and much more. So why don't we get right into it? We're going to start off with Gamer Room, Artist Alley, and Dealer's Room. And to introduce us for that, here's my very awful, bouncy, jumpy, probably nausea-inducing video of the tour of the Dealer's Room and the Gamer Room, with some special guests and special clips introduced. You'll see what I mean. Apologize, like I said, apologize for jumping videos. Try to do it in the form of like John's arcade tours, or also something like Tim Tractor's hotel tours. Again, sorry for the shaky camera, but here's the tour of the dealer's room and the gamer's room. Hey there, anime fans! This is your host, Thomas Primetime. Mattis. Sorry for the shaky cam, but we are going to do a tour of the dealer's room here at AnimeNEXT. So here we go. I'm gonna turn the camera around now.
Oh, you're an exhibit. I'm sorry. I'm taking press to it. I just wanted to make sure it was only press.
Here we go. We got a lovely so we're staying here, and this is, I believe, our press person, Greg. I apologize if I getting that name wrong.
Started, guys. I just wanted to let you know.
This might be edited out for content.
So we got
Half hour.
70 dealers this year in the space, which I think is a new high for us. The dealer's room is 83,600 square feet. So again, it's like taking up more space physically, all right? And then in the artists, 500, that can't be right. Oh, how many applied? Oh, okay. So we had 102 dealers apply. We have 70 that actually are here. And then for artists, are you ready for this? We have 583 people apply to be in the artist alley. And then we actually have 125. So it's really popular. So,
Like Harvard's acceptance rate.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we got, as far as like big, so like High Dive is here, Funimation is here, and then Brother, the people that make the sewing machines, so cosplayers really like that too. So we'll take a quick walk, we'll go up and down the aisles here, and then we'll go back to the artist alley. So let's go to the end and around.
So that is actually a massive number, folks, for AnimeNEXT. They keep growing every year. This is, if you don't know about AnimeNEXT, AnimeNEXT is definitely one of the, I think, best kept secrets on the Eastern Seaboard as far as I turn around here. As far as anime conventions, I always have a fun time. Even though last year I took a break, but just some great stuff. You got your posters here and everything. And, let me slip around. And pretty much you can see you have everything you want here to get. There's figures, there's your DVD and figure spot. It's so this is definitely like it's one of those things where this one in particular, it's stuff I want to buy but can't buy. Big row, and it's fascinating on that sense that all these things, and there's stuff I can't show you because that's hentai row. I don't know if it's hentai row, but I see where sexy is, and you know me, folks, I always go to sexy, and that didn't come out creepy at all, did it? We've come to the back row. So back row, we got Asian Snack Time, which is doing Asian snacks. We got Al's Gaming Emporium, which looks like it has some classic games like 64 and that stuff. Anime NYC, which hopefully at some point I'll be submitting panels to and applying for press. I will be coming back to ask some press questions.
Here.
We got some Japanese crafts and swords.
When they apply, so what they're going to be selling.
Shark Robot, which looks like t-shirts and panties.
As well as I like them.
We got more crafts here. Shugi, which looks like, and I think I got a spider web on me somewhere. We got another figure shop here with massive amount of figures. I still don't know if I'm going to get a figure. We've got more crafts right here. Great crafts. Here's a very cute shop right here with the setup.
This is great. I'm definitely coming back. That's metallic posters. Man, it's tees, some more shirts. Because I'm trying not to step in front of cameras. More cute stuff right here. We have Collectors Anime LLC right here, where you can buy some anime. Yep. I was just about to ask, we're in Artist Alley. I thought we couldn't film. And I still want to know what's on my arm. We got custom things right here, full of goth stuff and cups and all that type of wear right there. We got a huge thing right here filled with all types of anime love that you can possibly buy. And of course more anime figures for you to buy and spend tons of money that you probably shouldn't be spending, or else you lose your house on. More anime figures that will bankrupt you. I know many friends who lost their houses on bankrupting themselves on houses, as I'm now past the party. More cute stuff for your people to buy. By the way, I apologize again for the very shaky camera. We're very on a tight stuff here. Tight stuff because, again, we can't focus exactly on anything for any too long a time without asking permission. This is just a walkthrough tour. Here's some Gundam model kits right here, and more action figures and anime stuff. Some more interesting t-shirt designs. Oh, and they have 5X, so I may actually get a t-shirt this year. I may have accidentally gone to show some of the hentai stuff. Bunnies and cream, that looks interesting. Definitely something I'll have to come to later. I see Godzilla stuff, and of course this is something we passed earlier where we said more figures that will bankrupt you. So far, very interesting tour. A lot of great variety in just those couple rows. And some of these dealers I've seen before here at AnimeNEXT. Like these guys that are here at they're at AnimeNEXT, they're at Otakon, they're all over the place. Again, obviously they haven't opened yet. This is before it's open, so posters.
Well, nice to see you again.
They're here, and I know what I'm buying. I just saw a Godzilla vs. Biollante poster, so he's gonna get $15 from me. Some more anime wear, fresh Hawaiian blend, for you to snack to while here. We've got hats and shirts. This one doesn't have anything set up yet, but again, some D&D shop, another figure shop. Another place to buy some more Gundams, including Zeros, and as we reach the end of this row, and we're going into another row. So far, very good, and keep getting out because I am on something. You ever have that feeling like you have a spider web? Yeah, I feel like an arm. Big plushie shop right there, or at least top figure shop. Some more clothing, a very cute little pavilion here. You got backpacks and tons of stuff here, and it's right across from another one, Tasty Peach. Another shirt design. I'm hoping there's more to have the 5X shirts, because certainly being a big guy, being able to get 5X anime shirts is very, very hard, and apparently somebody just honked us. Here, of course, your ability to pick up Japanese swords. So, more anime wear to possibly buy. Boxes by Cosplay Burlesque, which is a great show I'll be showing actually later this evening. More shirts, more hats, which is interesting because I actually need to go get a hat. Manga right here, great prices. They got 6 each, 2 for 10, 10 for 40. That's a great price right there. Got backpacks, got t-shirts, got all types of hats. What is on me? I feel like I got a thread. Again, like I said, I feel like I have a... And I finally found it, so that's another clothing place with wigs, Virgin Killer shirts, you name it. Here's the plushie section for all your love of plushies. Sorry. Got wallets and cute stuff and craft there. A lot of, I've actually never seen this many hats on sale in the dealer's room, so that's amazing. Got Funimation right here. Don't want to film just in case. Mythical Fair with all your mystical and mythic stuff and everything. Another dealer selling, can't see the name, but selling lots of little figurines and pins and stuff, and video game boutique where you can buy retro games and stuff, and once again more hats, and I see an Alter Beast hat. That's awesome. Lots more video game stuff. Here's Media Blasters, which of course I have the Gundam Wing box set. I'll have to stop by and see how much that is. More stuff isn't sold, more figures, a really great variety. The thing that I think is good about the variety of dealers just selling figures is you can always, and I found something that you can, as I turn around here, I don't want to film it to Artist Alley, but you can always, haggle. Especially if you know how to do it on the last day, which I unfortunately don't. I'm an impulse buyer, so I'm never good at haggling. Back again, we are now in the video game room. They're going to let us go in just a second. And so I'm going to give you a tour. They have a lot of these new arcade machines here. So I'm going to give you guys a tour. So we're going to turn around now. And so here you can see the overall look of the floor. Over there, I believe, is where they're going to be setting up the UGL video game tournaments, which unfortunately I can't do because I have a panel tomorrow night at the same time as the Tekken tournament. So unfortunately, all those poor bastards lucked out, and I'm not going to be whooping their ass. Hey, I have a mighty fine villain gin. Of course, you can see fighting games being set up there. We got some more machines right here, most of which have not been set up, but got people playing over there. This, of course, is the ops area over here. I got some Mario Kart, got some Miku, got some more arcade. I honestly don't know what this game is right here. And got another fighting game. I think this is not Platoon, but Arms, whatever that one is right there. As we go, I just had to ask questions. We're good to Discord, right? Yes. Okay. So then, over here, got some people playing Naruto. Some Blaze Blue over here. Some more, looks like Blaze Blue, smaller version right here. By the way, the UGL, which is what you are going to see in a lot of monitors, is heavily sponsoring. I got some PlayStation over here with some games. Got some 64 stuff here. Got classic Mortal Kombat. There you go. Got Double Dragon on. And then I missed the game that's there. It's in this. Well, it looks like they got Street Fighter 2. Yeah, it is Street Fighter 2 in there. More games that aren't up yet. We got Smash right here. Got two things to Smash. Over here, got Street Fighter, I believe it's Alpha. Yes, sir?
AnimeNEXT at Somerset?
Yeah.
Did you do a skit where you got beat up by Street Fighter characters? I remember you because I was actually there. I was one of the fans.
I still have that video up on YouTube.
Oh, you do? Matter of fact, yes.
By the way, folks, we got Tekken right here where I'm going to beat a lot of poor bastards with my G.
I'll see you here. I will see you at the
Mattis Leonhardt.
Oh, what was your name?
MATISLEONHART. And then just look at the AnimeNEXT review stuff. I think it's like in the middle of one of the videos.
Okay.
So you have to go down, but like just search through that list. And,
Yeah, I'll show you where. I remember. I'm like, I can't remember this guy.
well, I've been coming here 12 till 16, and then last year I took a year off.
I've been coming since Somerset. Now.
Well, I have a Tsunami panel that I'm doing later tonight, so I'll have to go cover that because that's going to be fun. I got to continue this tour, but it's nice to meet you, man. Thanks for recognizing me. So, machines, we're going to go look at the machines in just a second because they got a lot of machines. They got a big thing of Street Fighter 5 and Dragon Ball Z Fighters. That's awesome. So as we come down here, we're coming back down to where the retro games were. They got what looks like a Double Dragon type of game, Altered Beast, Punch Out, and then there's like a bunch of video game moves like Extra Lives, which is fundraising and everything. So we're gonna start down here because they actually told us that these are some of the new arcade machines that they have. And these are supposedly very cool, and obviously they already have a line for them. These are apparently Gundam pods. And apparently you stand in them and you can virtual reality play Gundam. And on screen here is, I think, preview of what's going on. As one person finishes, they go into a pod, so that's very, very cool. And back to our regular program, had to take a quick break there, found some great cosplayers, a Maverick cosplayer, and a really good Cammy cosplayer. Wanted to take a picture. You can, of course, see that in the photo album. So back to our tour of the video game room here. Gun Stratos, arcade with gun scene. Got a Bone Eater Silent Scope. Got a Takun, the drum feeding game. I'm gonna go around the line here. We've got Groove Coaster and some other rhythm games. This is obviously the rhythm game section. Pop music, Sound Vortex, Jubeat, here. And as we, of course, come back over here, we got the fighting game, people in line. We got Blaze Brew Cross Tag, got Street Fighter V, in which I'll get my ass kicked in, and of course Dragon Ball Z Fighters, in which I'll be furious in. Got Project. So these are actual arcade machines that people are playing at. Got Pop Diva Arcade. Some more music arcades right here. Got Initial D8, which has a line for it, right here. Got Unite Neos, which looks like another one of those rhythm games to play. And of course, here we got Dance Prime 2, which looks like another Dance Dance Revolution phone. Of course, we got In the Groove and another dance game. And of course, we've got Dance Dance Revolution Classic and Dance Evolution, another Dance Dance game.
And that was the tour of both the gamers room and dealer's room. Let's start with the gamers room because that's where we left off. So much fun. Had so much fun playing so many things here. The Gundam pods were just as amazing as they sounded. You play as either the Alliance or Xeon. I, of course, played as the Alliance because I'm a goody two-shoes, a little boy. Yeah, they were so much fun. I actually got to spend a little bit more because basically play until you get game over. And so I was able usually to get 3 or 4 levels in, and other people were just getting 1, if maybe 2. So I was one of those players who were spending 10 minutes in there because the controls were easy to pick up, even though it's all in Japanese. I also, thankfully, because I take Japanese, I did actually understand some of the Japanese. But, you know, the controls are very easy to understand once you get a hang of them. Got to play some of the retro stuff, like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2. Had a fun time playing Tekken. I unfortunately kept going up against Jack players, and I never do good against Jack players. But I was able to hold my own, so it wasn't like wasn't pushovers where they weren't competitive. They were competitive games. I wish I would have recorded some of those games. I did, however, record my ass getting completely kicked in Blaze Brew Cross Tag, which I tried, which I'll insert here. Yeah, I got my ass kicked, but that was me just playing the game for the first time. So the fact that I was able to do any damage to the other character, who had been there, I think, for like 5-10 minutes, or I should say at least 5, for a couple players, mind you, I personally think it was impressive. Hadn't picked up the game, only using my knowledge of Blaze Blue, my very limited knowledge of Blaze Blue and how to play. So, yeah, so I thought I did okay, even though I got my ass kicked. I also played Street Fighter there, which I did very well with, of course, my Laura. Stuck around through a couple players before I actually had to go to another panel. And also did Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and for the most part was able to stand on my own, even though I got beat. I have no problem getting beat. You know, again, I have certain handicaps, which that's topic for another day. But yeah, so Dealer's Room was very good. I mean, I would have liked to see maybe a bit more variety, maybe more games. Because I think of, like, for instance, Otakon, where you have all those shoot-em-ups in there. I would like to see a whole lot more shoot-em-ups. I personally wish I would have spent more time in the Gamer's Room. I probably could have gone late at night and like, spent 2 hours in there doing stuff. I just, was too tired on Friday and Saturday. That's something I'm going to have to rectify next year. Make sure I have the energy and I'm not carrying as much stuff. So no shopping late, I should say. But Artist Alley, go in there. A lot of great artists. Very, very beautiful stuff. Though, mind you, there was also some artists, as there usually are in the Dealer's Room as well. So to show you some of the Artist Alley stuff, or at least people stuff I include in the artist stuff, there's a woman who did masks. She also had like Power Rangers masks as well, like this. But this demon mask that I got, I actually ended up using this in the Toonami panel, if you've seen the video. This, of course, you probably saw it in the video. This was in the Dealer's Room, but I consider it an artist thing. I had to get this beautiful metal holographic Nightmare Before Christmas that switches between Oogie Boogie, Jack Skeleton, and Sally. Just absolutely gorgeous. Had to pick it up. And last but not least, because he was in Artist Alley selling his books, though I picked it up actually at a panel, Charles Dunbar, he does these little pamphlets that are so good. It's like about sort of anime and sort of inside the sort of anime psychology and stuff like that. I picked up The Road to Being a Magical Girl and Taken by the Gods by Charles Dunbar. You can get these if Charles is at your convention. If you are, please pay the man. He deserves your love. They're great books. They're great reads. He knows what he's talking about. We'll be talking about Charles a little bit later when we get to events and panels. But yeah, go to www.studyofanime.com where you can find out where he's coming next and maybe purchase some of the stuff if possible. Charles is just so informative and knowledgeable about anime. Somebody I really look up to. So check out that. And then as far as the Dealer's Room, as you heard, most they ever have, definitely much bigger, much wider, a lot of space to walk. Being in Atlantic City now, bigger than they had at Somerset. And I remember what the Dealer's Room was like at Somerset. That was a very crowded Dealer's Room. It was like pretty much only 2, maybe 3 rows, very crowded. But didn't have the space that they had here to have as many people now, or in the Artist Alley was even smaller in that little corner for those who remember Somerset. But I did pick up some things. I ended up picking up on Amazon after because they sold out. I'll tell the story about one particular thing. In that case, the other one was I could have gotten it there, but I ended up getting cheaper after. But I consider it part of my con swag. First is I picked up 2 mobile suits from Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, Gundam Build Diver. First, you can actually see one right there, which I've started. I actually need to do the weapons, though. Is Riku's Mobile Suit Gundam 00 Diver from Gundam Build Diver. Been loving the Gundam Build Diver Driver series, mind you. And also the Yuki's Mobile Suit, the GM Mach 3 B Master. Can't wait to put that together. And of course, I also had to get a lot of Gundam Wing stuff because I am a Gundam Wing fanatic. As you can see, Gundam Wing was my first Gundam. As part of my effort to get the original suits, which I sort of have with Wing Zero, and not much more though, I'm working on it. I got an original Death Sight. So this is the first Death Sight, not Death Sight Hell or the Endless Waltz. I need to improve on those. I actually have a 1/44th scale Death Sight. Think about this is a 1/100 scale. I like the bigger 1/100 scale and the 1/60th scale to the 1/44 scale, though the model kits coming out nowadays are the 1/44th scale. I think the biggest reason I don't like the 1/44 scale is that the parts are much more easier to lose. Because like if they're very small and they slip out of your finger and they go on the floor and you can't find them, like I have about one little clear piece for Gundam Diver, which is not really noticeable, but I notice it and it aggravates me. This I ended up buying afterwards. It's cheaper on Amazon though, but like I probably would have gotten it. This is the Endless Waltz version of Heavy Arms, not actually this version, but the basically at the beginning of Endless Waltz they show the mobile suits, the sort of upgraded version of the mobile suits at the end of the war at Endless Waltz, and that's what this series is. So like, yeah, it makes it so like there's like 4 complete sets of Endless Waltz you have to get. You have to get sort of the beginning of Endless Waltz pre-war, then actual Endless Waltz, there's the Gundam Wing series, the first set, and then there's the upgraded Gundams that towards the end of the series. It's a lot of Gundams to get. And then last but not least, the one that I've been waiting 10 years to get, and the story behind this is that I saw it, I wanted it, but again, I need to hold off, whatever. I'm like, what, you know, let me be smart. No one's going to spend $180 on it. It'll probably be there Sunday, but then I went away for like 2.5, 3 hours to the Cosplay Pro Wrestling event. So why am I waiting? I should just get it. I know I want it. I want it. It's not going to go down in price. I went back. Somebody had bought it. So I ended up buying it online for actually $10 cheaper. Some of you on Facebook know I already got this, but the Perfect Grade Gundam Wing Endless Waltz edition. Wing Zero Custom. This thing's going to be a beast together. I'm waiting on the tools to properly put this together. And also go through the other stuff before, you know, work on master grades and stuff before I get to that. So that's my swag that I got at the dealer's room. As I said, the dealer's room was wonderful as I moved things over. Very much loved it. Can't wait to see how they have dealer's room next year. That's I think a good view of my overall thoughts in the dealer's room and such. I had so much fun in there. Actually, that's the thing. I would get lost in the dealer's room. I probably wasted a lot of time this convention in the dealer's room, just like window shopping even. So that was that, and time to move on to cosplay. So perfect way to introduce us to the cosplay is let's take a look at what I feel are the best pictures I took at AnimeNEXT 2018 cosplay.
Just because you believe in something, it doesn't mean that anything will come of it. Sometimes you suffer great misfortune for believing in something too much. There are times that it's tough to believe in anything at all.
Hey, welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed it. You see many good cosplayers. Since AnimeNEXT has ended, I've been going back and forth with how I feel about the cosplay. And it's not that it's bad. In fact, it's very good. There are a lot of good, creative people there. Overall, I think my feelings on the cosplay is that it's very personal and relaxing. People weren't cosplaying to like show off or get into magazines or stylized or anything like that. The cosplay people were picking was more about comfort and about culture, you know? It's like, I'm part of this cosplay anime family culture, and thus it creates sort of more personal, more family feeling to that. And again, that's not me saying there's any right or wrong way. Both, you know, you have this, and then you have like what happens at the bigger major cons like Otakon and Anime Expo and things like that, and like San Diego Comic-Con, to where it's about being seen, it's about showing sort of, it's more professional. How professional am I? You know, how close to the character can I get? Not that like sort of more personal family stuff doesn't happen there either, but it's more about that. Like, you're at a major con, you want to be seen. And both are very valuable, valid ways to cosplay. It's not about either or here. It's just like, this is what AnimeNEXT is, which I find interesting because AnimeNEXT actually kind of used to feel the other way when it was in Somerset. And I think maybe that had to do with that they were getting more New York and more northern cosplayers, maybe more Pennsylvania cosplayers as well, because, you know, it was in Somerset, which was closer, not only closer to New York, but closer to Pennsylvania as well, especially upstate Pennsylvania. So, but at the same time, you're also closer to Delaware, but I don't know what the give or take there is. I mean, I know there are people who come down from New York, but I don't think as many people come from New York as they're used to when it was in Somerset. But yeah, it definitely has a much more family. I think also the other reason is that Somerset was a very sort of scenic location with that bridge and the little pond, and there were so many places outside to take pictures. In Atlantic City, there's not really many scenic and almost iconic places to really take pictures. There's also a staircase, but, you know, I don't really see a lot of photographers. I mean, there are some, but not a lot of photographers going to AnimeNEXT the 2 years that I went so far. Because the last time I went, by the way, was in 2016. I kind of forgot to, I'll mention why towards the end. Yeah, so, but again, it's not a wrong or right way to cosplay. It's just different ways, different conventions feel. You know, the smaller the convention is generally more personal, more about comfort the cosplay is. And just the overall feeling was that people were just about cosplaying for comfort. Another thing, I don't know if this is true though, and I won't bring it up for the one reason is, because I went back and looked at my photo albums, and like I had a lot of people color cosplaying as well. Maybe it was just because of the political atmosphere that maybe I'm taking more notice of how many people of color are cosplaying. Which again, I'm not saying is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. But just for those who don't know, there's been a recent rash of people of color cosplayers being attacked, and so there's been a drive to recognize cosplayers that are people of color. And so maybe I was noticing it more. But then again, like I said, I went back into my old albums and I'm like, I took pictures of lots of people of color cosplay. But you know, it's good to see sort of that representation there. And seeing maybe it is that there's more, which is a great thing, you know, that if more people are feeling more comfortable and not confined by sort of constraints in society about who can cosplay and who can't, that's a great thing. So it's not a bad or great thing. Just maybe something else that I noticed. So there's that. So just overall cosplay was very well done. Lots of great people had lots of great ideas for cosplay. You saw some of them on there. And yeah, some of them were traditional, but things like, for instance, the Maverick cosplayer. Like, I've never seen anybody cosplay as Maverick from Top Gun. That's just awesome. And those are sort of the cosplays I look for. I love that. I also love when I see families, like the people, and I think it was a little blurry because of the sun, and I apologize, but the people who were like cosplaying from Jurassic Park, the little family there, or the 3 kids who were cosplaying, were just adorable, you know. Not all about super sexy cosplay, or just the most perfect thing. Sometimes it's just about families cosplaying together. And that's something also that I love more at AnimeNEXT that you really don't see at Otakon or the major cons. Is you see more family cosplay and families there, and which I love. So cosplay really on point and great. That brings us to the last topic, events and panels. We have so much to talk about, and what a better way to introduce that than the Cosplay Pro Wrestling event and my favorite entrance and promo during that event. Check it out.
Attaching us together for the duration of the Bowser's Dungeon of
Shinsuke Nakamura's theme for Harley Quinn. Or Harley Quinn Nakamura, shall I say. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyways, so many great events. Of course, let me start off with the Cosplay Pro Wrestling event. Really check these guys out. They're at Cosplay Pro Wrestling on YouTube. Search them, like them. They do great work. I mean, the entire event was fun. The wrestling was great as a wrestling fan. People were all over it. Like, they were all the way up. They had to constantly say, please don't hang over the railings. We don't want anybody to fall. I would actually like to see it maybe in the main event room maybe next year. I don't know if that would create less room because, you know, there's only so many people that can fit in there and you can have people watching for the railings, but at the same time, yeah, I'd love to be able to sit down. Because I got tired at a lot of points and had to, like, take a knee. But, you know, here and there. Wrestling was great. Event was great. Speaking of the main event, I also went to the Burlesque and saw a couple of the performances before I had to go to a panel I wanted to see. So I stopped in and watched a couple of performances. Cosplay Burlesque, once again, really great. They do a great job with their performances. It's always fun. And it's always fun to see, you know, maybe this is me being an old crodger on this, but, you know, it's funny to sort of see, like, the younger kids who are, like, just turned 18 who are so excited to go see this. It's like, oh, it's the youngins' ye old first strip club. Not that there's actual nudity or it's a strip club, mind you, but it's like they treat it like they're going to a strip club, and it's very funny because the burlesque is very artistic and while being sensual. I mean, it's a burlesque show, but it's a lot more artistic than I think people realize, and a lot more interpretive dance in a way. So again, the performances are very fun to watch. But they're sort of, maybe, it's like I said, it's the old crodger in me who's fun to look at the youngins who've just turned 18, who feel, oh, I can see side boob now. I am old enough. And the same thing happened, by the way, in the panel I went after that, which was the fan service fiesta panel, which was an 18 and up panel, and also had some hentai. Just like people seeing hentai for the first time and being shocked, dull, and laughing. That's just always fun to watch. So the fan service fiesta panel, very fun to go to. There was a Voltron panel I went to. That was very fun. I'm trying to think of. I went to the Cosplay Pro Wrestling panel. They did a great job. I went to Charles Dunbar's. I went to 2 of his panels. Again, I can't stress enough. Go to Charles's panels. They are awesome. He did a panel in Japanese Hells. Absolutely amazing. And will scare the dickens out of you. It really will. And then, of course, he did a wonderful panel on American animation and sort of maybe, as an oxymoron, but maybe more importantly approaching it from the idea that American anime can exist because of the idea of globalization and how people are influenced by the Japanese style, which is, in a way, a different way than I approach it. I approach American anime from a more artistic standpoint. Again, please watch the panel, The History of American Anime, which is up on YouTube, to see what I'm talking about, but I'll talk about that more in a second. Because, of course, I had my panels, and for the most part, all of them were good. The first 2, I felt I rushed through, because, again, I hadn't done a con in 2 years, so I was a little bit rusty. But by The History of American Anime, I had gotten back into it, but really good crowd for Tsunami panel. Thank you for everybody who came and for the most part stuck to the entire panel. Again, I had a little entrance that I worked on. Thank you to the person who worked the camera for me. I really appreciate it. I apologize that I don't have your. I wish I would have written down your name instead of just trying to remember it, because I should have known. I would have forgotten it. So I'm sorry about that, but thank you for coming. And thank you for helping with the camera. So again, Tsunami panel was fun. Literally right after that panel, I had to do my next panel, which is the Urbame. And thank you to the 5 people who showed up. When both for the Tsunami panel and that, I had so much competition, including I think Charles was doing a panel at the same time my Tsunami panel was doing, and I think also a guest was. So So I had a lot of competition with that. So thank you to everybody who came out. And then, of course, it was very late, and I think people were lining up for the burlesque show. So I really didn't have many for the Urban May panel, but thank you to the 5 people who came out. And thank you for the critique and the feedback you gave me after the panel. I really need to work more on the Urban May panel, which is a panel about urban culture and how it influenced anime ultimately. I probably need to cut out the last part that I do of that panel, which is where I go into what type of anime urban culture likes and why. But that's a whole different story. But again, I thought it went well, again, considering that I was rusty. Had a very decent crowd for the History of American Anime panel, which again, even at had competition, I think, again, from Charles. I just keep going up against him, and of course he has more pull because more people know him. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. We also had technical difficulties in that room, which I would be in that room Sunday morning as well. And they put basically it was the projector. They found out the projector isn't like my computer. They ended up putting that projector back in the room, and it wouldn't work for me again that Sunday morning. So, but thankfully we had like a very long space between the end of my panel and the next panel on Saturday night, so I was able to get that 15 minutes back. And people in general really enjoyed the History of American Anime panel. It's very comforting to have people come up like, wow, that I never really looked at it that way, and it's a really interesting way to look at it, and really they'll sort of open people's minds to those concepts. And then, of course, the panel, again, it was Sunday morning. Thank you to the 4 people who showed up. Again, we had some technical difficulties, sorry about that, but they stayed through the entire thing. One was 2 people who were from the American Anime panel, who were influenced to come to the panel because of that panel. Thank you to you 2. And then there was a mother and her 13-year-old daughter who came, and all of them really liked the panel. I hope to be able to do that panel at other conventions because it's a really interesting sort of storytelling type of panel that tells American anime fandom history. And I may end up doing a YouTube video based on that, basically. But really, really enjoyed it. I've got good feedback, and I find it funny. Thank you to the 13-year-old who was influenced to see some new series. I think she said, because I show like the intro videos, it's sort of part of anime to sort of what he was watching, because I think intro videos are sort of great openers into it. And she was interested in seeing Gundam Wing, Gurren Lagann, and High School DxD. I am corrupting the youth of America, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, I did do my dutiful purpose and like let her mother know, like, just to let you know, she's 13. She may not be really ready to see High School DxD because there's nudity and sexual content. You know, I did the adult thing just to let people know. So, in general, all the events and panels were awesome and amazing. So, yeah, just final thoughts. I may mention that my last AnimeNEXT was 2016. It's been 2 years since I did a convention. My last official one was Otakon 2016, which was the last one in Baltimore. And just, I was burnt out and everything from anime conventions and just anime, and that entire year was very difficult to me. And of course, ended in the wonderful thing of Donald Trump being elected president. Which, if you can tell by the sarcasm in my voice, is not a wonderful thing! Anyways, you know, take time off, rejuvenated, and the best thing I can say about AnimeNEXT is it rekindled my loving anime conventions. I loved it. I missed conventions, and to be part of that sort of family atmosphere was just absolutely wonderful. I wish I would remember to mention at the beginning of the video, but to everybody at the AnimeNEXT staff, you are amazing. From press, to panel ops, to safety, and tech crew, which again, they worked so diligently on helping finding out that it was the projector in both those panels. All of you are absolutely amazing. AnimeNEXT has the best anime convention staff of any convention I've ever been to. And I don't say that willy-nilly. it's just amazing, and you guys do such great work. You create a convention that adds just such a comfortable and inclusive feel that everybody loves going to. And that's the thing. AnimeNEXT so inclusive, so as a family feel, it's so wonderful. You have so much fun going there no matter what you do. The only sort of bad thing you can feel is that there's so much stuff and there's so much stuff, fun stuff to do, that it's that sort of good, bad thing of like, oh, I know I missed something and I kind of feel bad for missing something. There's no way to see it all. But whatever you do, you know you're going to have fun. Whether you just window shop in the dealer's room, watch a cosplay pro wrestling event, go to a panel, or just dress up in cosplay and have people take pictures of you. AnimeNEXT was absolutely amazing this year. So I give AnimeNEXT 2018 an A+, 5 out of 5, whichever way you want to rate it perfectly. And yeah, I can't wait for AnimeNEXT 2019. So that's the AnimeNEXT 2018 Con special. Couple things before we go. I do want to give a little sort of sermon. This is going to be a segment called Tom's Sermons, to use my little bully pulpit here, because we are in the Church of the Absolution. And this is going to be something I'm going to be doing with the new relaunch Tom's Rugged, which I'll do little sermons on certain topics. I have one in particular set up for the first video. But the little sermon I want to do here is this. Please support your local anime conventions, whether it be the local one be something like AnimeNEXT, or whether they be a small little like show that happens maybe twice a year at a Holiday Inn or something put on by a local community college. Support your local anime conventions, because again, it helps build that anime family. And that's the most important thing. And there are people who are going to those shows that if they have a good time at those little shows, they might find the courage to go to the bigger shows. And again, they can experience so much. And those smaller conventions allow for people to talk about stuff and more personal panels that are so much fun to talk about. And again, who knows? That little small community college anime convention in 10 years may grow in 10 years to be the next Otakon or whatever. And you can make so much headway and so many connections just by going to there. So, and it's what keeps the anime fandom strong. It's what keeps it healthy and what keeps the love going through the fandom. So please, please support your local anime conventions. So, that's my little sermon. And that's it for this episode. Well, not episode, but that's it for the AnimeNEXT 2018 Con special. As I said, coming later this week, Tom's Prerogative Tom Prerogative relaunches with number 1. I promise, we're not going to be like Marvel and relaunching every 2 months. But yeah, I have a little special surprise for you, because the first episode is going to be on a movie I've been waiting a long time to review. The year was 1996, and we all believed we could fly. So until next time, my Tsunami generation, stay golden.
Nerdcore Absolution. Come to peace with your inner nerd, and after you can stay gold like T.O.M. Chilling out the galaxy, and we know him. Putting tunes up that'll keep you up. Glued to the screen like you do too much. The galaxy is ours, the sun and the stars. Tsunamis on and chilling hard. Watching closely from a perch among the stars, as viewers await the moment when the spirit bomb can charge. Hito Yui self-detonates, Yu Yu Hakusho replicates and spits in the spirit while their chests are pounding.